Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Helena. I'm from Gink Design. I am based in Northern Ireland. And tonight I'm going to be talking to the beautiful, the wonderful, the talented, amazing Quitta Allen from all.shabbed. Quitta is a mentor of our group, our Furniture Painters Unite group in the USA. And she has quite kindly agreed to do this interview so we can get to know her a wee bit better. Hello, Quitta.
Hey, how are you, Helena? Hello, everyone.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So, for anyone who lived on Mars and doesn't know your work or who you are, can you please tell me and everyone a little bit about you and how you got started in this wonderful industry?
Well, I got started by chance. I am a very busybody kind of person. I guess, you have a lot of energy, but you're not an athletic type person. So my energies are everywhere. And so I've always worked in a lot of different jobs, just trying to find my way. So I always ended up in sales positions, which I didn't like really very much. And I remember when I used to work for my dad, he had his own business and he would say, "You're a really good salesperson. You really should do that." And I was like, "I don't want to be a salesperson. I want to be a truck driver." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't know if you want to be a truck driver." And I was only 13. So I'm like, "I really want to be a truck driver. I really think that'd be a lot of fun." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't think you would like that, but I'm not saying you can't do it." But he goes, "You're really good at sales." And so I started working for him really young and doing sales on the phone, though I was unaware that that's what I was really doing. So how I got in this business was I was working for corporate sales. And when we had kind of the, recession happen in 2009, it really, really changed our business. I sold Freon, which is coolant for air conditioners, in tankers, massive, amounts. So it was a huge business. And so I made commission and we all did really well. But then once that hit, we could not give it away. I mean, it was like, don't y'all still need it? But there were businesses closing and, big, productions were shutting down that needed that, or they were transferring over to some other system that they didn't need Freon, or some of the Freon.
They were moving where it was cold.
Yeah, well, not even that, because they needed to run certain machines. So it keeps certain machines cool. And it's not just, to keep you cool. It was like for big plants and
Okay.
So that kind of went to crap. So they held on to us for a really long time after that and just kind of trying to keep us in the job. It was a mom and pop business, but it was international. So I had 28 states on the East Coast. So I'm like completely Texas girl. And so they would say, "Can you leave, the message on my answering machine?" Because they had said I had an accent, and I was like, "I don't have an accent. What are you talking about?" And actually, I'm kind of cleaning it up right now. So, but I can really make it pretty thick if I need to. And so I really enjoyed working there. I love the people that I worked with and all the customers and clients. Well, 10 years had gone by, and they put me out on the road and in the air, and just traveling a lot. And it was hotel to hotel, and I just really did not love that. And so I started tinkering in furniture on my days off when I would come back after a couple of weeks of being gone. And I had the reason that I did I'd never painted before. So no painting experience.
You weren't at college doing art or no background?
No, the only art I took was what we were required to take in the 7th grade. And that
finger painting.
And that was it. And I can't remember anything about art class whatsoever. Because I really loved, I liked English. I hated math, but I loved English. I liked writing. And then I got thrown into, when I was 14, in our journalism class to become the photographer. So that was my first experience with art, really, was being a photographer. So on the side, from the time I did photography all through high school, and then I did it professionally from 19 until probably 10 years ago, 11 years ago, when my dad.
Yeah, and that actually has really stood by you, because photography of your pieces is amazing, and it makes all the difference when compared to mine. Compared to mine. But your photography is so beautiful, and it tells a story, and you capture light, and you capture, so you can really tell that you have got an amazing eye for photography.
Thank you. And that was the thing, is I was scared of a camera. I mean, I'm going to get to why I'm doing this, but I was scared of a camera in high school because when she handed it to me, because it was such an expensive piece of equipment, and we didn't have a lot of money like that at home. We didn't have like cameras or any of that. It wasn't as accessible as it is now to have a camera, like to own one. You just, or to get the film developed or anything like that. So, and I'm telling my age a little bit, but I fell in love with it because we would develop the film ourselves at school, and it just became something that I really loved doing. So I started taking pictures of like families and kids and schools and daycare centers and dance studios and all of that. So that kept me afloat for a long time. And I bounced around between jobs. Sometimes I'd take off a few years and really get into it. And I loved it, but I never could find a good balance because, shooting weddings on film is very stressful. You have one chance, one shot, one everything. And it's just stressful to do by yourself because you got to be in all these different positions and angles. And I was really I always try to do things myself that I shouldn't. So I've always been into something. So it was either photography, and I always kept the photography on the side. But then I got into making jewelry. And so when my son was really little, he would sleep underneath the table at the shows, and we would make jewelry all day long at these little shows. And so he was really little, and he was so good and quiet. And then, I wouldn't put him on a cage or anything.
And a picnic hamper.
I wouldn't do any of that. So I've always, my son now is older, so he says, Mom, you've always had a hustle. You've always something. And it's just because I have ADD, and I just can't, my brain really never stops. And I guess I've always been creative, but I never played with paint. I didn't even know what chalk paint was.
Yeah. Did you think of yourself as creative? Probably not. It's probably at the time you didn't, but now when you look back and you see that everything that you did do that you loved to do was a creative outlet.
Yeah, it was. And I loved photography, but I didn't love the stress of okay, so you put packets together for a child to send it home with them, and kind of a school photos. Yeah. And so you would do that, and you have to do it all by yourself. So you have all the prints and all this, and then you get complaints, and then you're very stressed out. So you're open, you get complaints, and it's just a whole lot of stuff. But you could still get the same thing painting furniture, but it's not. I don't know why, but I usually don't worry about that anymore. But I remember when I first started, I bought a dresser for $20 at this little shop next to where I worked. And I took it home, and because I'd seen a piece of furniture online painted. And I was like, oh, they sell that for like $225. I was like, wow. And so my friend sold me a coffee table and an end table, and I didn't know how to use a sander. I didn't know how to use tools. I didn't know anything. I didn't understand. I was like, why do you need to pay $36 or $39 for this little bitty can of paint? I don't understand why it's so good. What is chalk paint? Because I found a group, and I'm going to ask the dumb question, what is chalk paint, and why do I need to use that on furniture versus this? So it was an Annie Sloan page. And of course, she's the OG. We wouldn't be doing chalk paint or any of that.
Oh, yeah,
she's for her. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the queen, isn't she?
She definitely.
She commented on a couple of my my comments one time, and I just remember thinking,
yeah, I know. She called me once, and I cried the whole time. Like, I was crying. I'm in my
No, she called you.
And I'm talking.
I don't think I could have spoken.
I think I had been doing it maybe 3 years when she called me. So I was such a baby, and I really had not found my style until that third year. So I did the coffee table on that, and then I started getting all this furniture and went to my first show. Okay. So I was like, I got to go to a show because I got all this stuff. What am I going to do with it? I was working out of the garage. So I worked out of the garage for like 2 years, I guess. And I didn't do canvas or anything because I didn't stage anything. I didn't know you needed to like make it feel like it was where, it might go in a place, like what it would look like in a home or any of that. My brain was not there yet.
Yeah.
My mindset was only like, how much can I get done and how much can I sell it for? And I was excited if I sold it for $300, which was crazy because, that's not very much for something that's,
Yeah.
really real wood and very nice. It's just, you kind of sell yourself short when you first start.
Oh, yes, definitely. Yes, everyone does. Yeah, there's no exceptions.
Value.
Everyone just says, "Oh, are you sure?
Uh-huh.
20? Are you sure?"
Yeah,
When really you should be saying, "I've just created a piece of art
I know. And
that you're never going to get anywhere else."
no,
You know, so yeah, it is the mindset. But and then I think also when you're starting out, you don't realize all the things. It's not just about painting furniture. It's about staging. It's about photography. It's about now videography. Now it's about social media. Now there's so much goes into it that people just have no idea.
right. And I really was not into social, like I was on Facebook, but I wasn't really like, the people who were painting and stuff really weren't doing that very much. And when okay, so I was in it for 2 years and I was failing. So I was actually losing money. I was about to have to find another job because it was just like, this is not working. I need a bigger space. I need to do it where if someone needs a whole house full of stuff for their new home, I need to be able to give them as much of those things as possible. So I started collecting different types of pieces from that point because I used to just buy anything. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to buy that. I'm going to buy this and I'm going to buy that. And I got that for free. And, things like that. Well, my mindset has completely changed. I figured out what I love to paint. I found a style that I can pretty much, it's recognizable, I think.
Oh yes, yes, it is. It is very recognizable,
Yeah.
and I think now getting free stuff and getting, I know it is great, but you tend then to move towards quality items. So you
Yeah.
tend to then start spending big money on
Yeah.
quality items. But then when I look at your pieces, I look at some of the beds you've done, and they're breathtaking and they're beautiful. But I also know that they would have really been expensive before you even cleaned them. And I think that also is part of the journey. I think that's something that you learn as you go along.
It is. And you learn so much and you continue to learn every day. Like, I work on projects that I don't even have a clue, this. Not everybody does. I'm very freestyle. I have no idea when I sit down in front of something, what I'm going to do with it.
Yeah.
I do have I have a group. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but I do have a private group and Helena's in the private group, which is amazing. And she does her own thing. So sometimes even when another artist is in my group, it's hard for them to sometimes just, you have to binge watch. Like I binge watch my friends because sometimes I can't watch them. So if I'm not feeling well or whatever, I'll just put it on the TV and then I'll binge watch them because sometimes I just don't have time, but I know I want to see like what they've been up to. What are they doing? Not that I'm trying to emulate anything they're doing.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah, absolutely. I understand. Yeah, I get that.
so I'm really big on just, trying to be myself. And I never want to, you're always inspired by something. It could be color.
Yeah.
Like, this is like one of my favorite pieces and I'm still really not finished with it, but I've just left it this gorgeous orange, and I had a lot of fun painting that. And so it's like, I do things in color. I'm not big on whites and grays and neutrals, but if that's something that somebody wanted, I don't do a lot of custom work either anymore. But I had to do custom work to grow.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to stage to grow. I was in a group that they were like the staging Nazis, and I don't mean that in an ugly way. I just know that they were really hard on us.
But that was
And
a good thing, probably. When you learn a lot.
you know what it did to me? I decided at that moment I didn't need their opinion.
Okay.
Like that's how I felt about it because I think my staging is very unique.
Yeah.
I don't ever do the same thing twice. Usually you may see the same arrangement twice or same flowers or something, but it's not really the same arrangement because I have this ton of collection. I collect
Yeah.
flowers from everywhere I go. So if it could be at a side of the road garage sale or a state or whatever, but I
Yeah.
never.
I think we know it's your piece because of your window, and I think that's
Um,
your window is the consistent, um,
yeah, and that won't be
consistent
there
thing
for.
in your pictures, which is great because every time I'm flicking or scrolling, I know it's yours as soon as I
Yeah,
see the
the
window,
wall and
and
everything.
yeah, I know
And,
it's yours. But
so I moved from the garage. I started moving into buildings. So I would go to one building, it wasn't big enough. And then I go to another building, it wasn't big enough. And so I was broke. So the second year, after the second year in January, I was broke and I found this building. I had no money. The only assets I had was furniture. So I went and looked at the building and I told him that day, I said, I will bring you a deposit in the first month's rent on Monday. Now this was Thursday. So
okay,
I had no money and I'm committing and I signed the lease and I'm like, I'm committing and I'm freaking out because I have no money. Like I am so broke. And so I went ahead and painted 4 dressers. I sold them all over the weekend just so I would have enough money to get in this building that I could not afford.
right. And
And
are you still in that building?
I'm still in the building currently, and I'm signing another year lease. And
Yes.
so I may or may not be moving in a year. So I never know if I'm going to stay, but I will be signing a new lease. Actually, I signed this afternoon a new lease to stay in the building one more year. So hopefully, and they went up on my rent, so that's kind of sucky, but that's okay. That's okay. So anyway, I moved into this building, and it's real weird because, but right before that in October, I painted this piece. It was the most expensive piece I had purchased at that time. So it was $250, and that was the most expensive piece. That I was such a big risk. You know, like I said, I was really kind of broke. I had a bunch of furniture, but I didn't have any any kind of cash flow whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I painted this piece and I painted it. I had found general finishes and I had found some metallics that I liked and with them. And so I had painted that and I ripped off out the mirror that was on the back. I just redesigned it, went crazy. It was absolutely gorgeous. And I called her the queen and I staged her in the last building I was in. It was a metal building. The lady was so mean to me that was in the group. And she was like, well, you have to move it. And I was like, I can't move it. I don't have like a white wall. I have a metal wall. And so, I was like, and she was like, well, if you're not going to listen to me, then you don't need to be in this group. And I'm just like, okay. And I feel like that's so mean. Like, I'm not trying to talk about her in general, but I'm just saying, if anyone is helping you with something, I mean, I feel like if you want some critique, then you're going to really, ask for it. But I felt really good about it. I was getting a lot of really good compliments on it. And she posted in the group, and in 30 minutes, there was over 3,000 likes on that piece. And and comments, and she turned the comments off.
Oh.
And then she sent me,
dear.
Yeah, and then she sent me a cease and desist because she thought that I was trying to steal people from her page, which I was barely on Facebook pages. I was just like, what?
People just wanted to know how you did it because it was that good, yeah.
In that too, so when I first started, you didn't tell colors, you didn't teach, you didn't share, you didn't do any of that. Like, you just didn't do that. It was like, how dare you ask me what color that is? So, I mean, no one did that. And I was never ready to teach either. So,
and why was that? Was everyone so protective of their own, or was there a lot? Was there a lot of people stealing ideas of
probably
stealing your creativity, or how am I going to put it? Was there a lot of people who didn't have their own creativity,
right?
So were taking other people's? Or
I don't really know why. I mean, really, it was just a thing. Like, you didn't dare ask. You were so rude if you asked, and that was okay because I mix a lot of my colors. You guys watch me do it,
yeah,
and I never can tell. I can tell you, hey, I use this, and hey, I use this, and so just play with it because I like mixology. I like to make up my own look, and I think that's the beauty of my style. For me, is that I can be free with it, and then.
Yeah.
Even if you can't quite pick up on it, you might have an happy accident and pick up on something that you love that we did, and it's just a happy accident. And most
Yeah.
of the time in this business, I mean, you probably have found that you just start something and you go, oh, wait a minute, how'd I do that? Wait,
Yep.
let's do that again. And so
Yeah, it's sometimes if I dip my paintbrush in the wrong tin of paint and put it on my piece, and then I go, oh no, and then I try to rub it off, and then I'm like, oh, that actually looks really good.
no. And so that's the whole thing, that it's like, I really am big on saying, look, if you want to stand out, don't copy people, for one, or don't even try. If you love my style, that's fine to learn from me. But what you learn is you still have to find your own style, because you're gonna have to do it again.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to, every time I do a tutorial, it's not the same. Every time. Yeah. Every time it could be something.
That's because you do mix your own colors without a recipe. without a recipe, without writing it down.
It's how I cook. It's how I live. Oh,
it's going to be difficult to replicate that anyway for you. Never mind someone else watching it.
Then, oh no, I have to tell you what I did. So, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed too, because now I don't know. Okay, so a lady ordered a bed for me. So it's a French bed, and I always paint like where the foot of the bed is on the inside. I always paint that. Well, I don't know what I did, but I just staged it before I painted that, because I set the beds completely up to paint them. I don't paint separate pieces.
All right, okay.
Yeah, so they're all completely set up already. I didn't set this one up because it didn't come with the frame, and I didn't have the frame. And so I guess I don't know what I was doing, but I had someone helping me load it, and they just loaded it. And so I never saw that the back was not painted, and it got delivered.
Oh.
So I don't know what color purple that is. And I had to try to send her a kit and teach her how to paint this back part of this footboard, or I'm going to drive all the way back to Missouri, which is like 7 hours for me to fix it myself. So it's like, oh my gosh. So stuff like that happens. It's like, I found back to where I don't even know where we were. I collectively keep, 100 plus pieces on hand. So in case somebody calls and says, hey, I need a bed. Okay, do you need dresser? Do you need nightstands? Do you need armoires? Do you need buffets? What do you need? Because I have
you need sofas.
Do you need a mirror? Do you need artwork? Do you need what? So I just furnished a house in St. Louis. And the most pieces that I've sold to one person is 48 at one time.
Wow.
And that kept me busy for about 4.5 months. And so she's ordered from me every single year except COVID messed me up, because she would have ordered again. And she has they're not nursing homes, but they're really like a rest home, not senior living. So senior living, so it's where they still can take care of themselves somewhat, but they have someone there. So she builds those in New Mexico, and I love her so much, but she's let me do artwork and all these furniture.
Oh, fantastic. That's lovely. So when did you go on to start your canvas work? Because you would now be known for your canvases as much as you are known for your furniture.
I hope so.
Definitely. Absolutely. Yes. Amazing work on canvas.
Thank you. Well, the first canvas I painted was the abstract. So this woman had asked me, she's like, do you do canvases? And I was just like, I can. Okay. So I just did abstract. And so I remember delivering that piece to her and talking with her and her husband, and they just sat there for an hour telling me what they saw in this painting. And I was like, I don't see any of that. But I would see my own things in the painting. And then I just really started doing it because mostly to stage. So I did it to stage my pieces without spending a lot of money. So I could paint that canvas over and over and over. And then it would create layers. And then somebody eventually would say, hey, I want to buy that. Or they would buy it. Then I was like, okay. But I really sold myself short for so long on sales, as far as like my pieces, the value of my own work, the value of myself. for a long time. But in my third year, I had no choice because now I had overhead. And now I wanted to grow. So I think when I moved in there, I had 4,900 followers maybe. And I can remember when I had the first 100, I just was jumping for joy. I was like, oh my God, 100 people. I think it's all my friends, but that's okay. And I would go to shows. When I first started, I would go to shows and I would sell all of my pieces, and I would be the only one there with all these colors. And so nobody had, all they had was turquoise, cream, dirty cream, gray, and like sometimes like a powder blue, like the Louis blue color.
Yeah.
So, you know, they would have that robin egg blue, whatever, robin egg. And so they would have that, but they didn't have yellow. They didn't have red. They didn't have orange. They didn't have like my bright blues. They didn't have purple. One of my, or pink. My biggest seller to date, the biggest sellers are pinks, anything blue and purple. Those are my biggest sellers, and orange, actually orange. So
yeah, I was going to say your orange and red.
Yeah, well, people think it's red, and it's really orange, and so they really always think it's really red, and so, which is fine. It doesn't matter what they think. If they love it and they say, okay, that looks red to me, well, I can't tell what their eye thinks it is.
Yeah.
So I really was like, I really was intimidated when I went to the shows. And I was so intimidated. There was this one girl there at one of the shows, and she was 5'11", and she she dressed super cute, and she was just so confident about her pieces and her work, and she had massive furniture. This is her fault. This is Jamie's fault that I love massive furniture, because I was thinking, you know, I would buy little buffets and dressers and desks and whatever, you know. And I wanted big furniture. I was like, I love, like, she would have big tables and big old chairs, and everything is turquoise and high gloss, and, you know, she actually even did like the glazes over it first, and then I loved her, and she passed away not long ago, so I just am heartbroken, because she was one of my first friends in this business, and she would come over, and, you know, she came over to me and she was like, I really love your work. And, you know, she would do cheetah print, and she would do all these things. And so we would do shows, and we would always make sure our booths were right next to each other.
Oh, that's lovely. That's
made me feel
that's lovely. When you became mentor of the Furniture Painters Unite USA group, and the whole ethos of that group is to connect furniture painters, because like you and myself, when you start out, you're on your own, and you're up against it on your own. As you said, you had that building and you had no money, and it was up to you to get that money. You know, there was no there's no partner to say, right, we're in a partnership, you know, furniture paint wise. Everything seems to be on you.
Right.
So you're the mentor of the USA group, which is fantastic, because that group, there's one in the USA, the UK, South Africa, and Europe, and we're now all connecting.
Good.
And you, as a mentor, you're definitely showing the way of how we can all support each other.
Yes.
And be supportive and ask those questions. You know, people still need to know why chalk paint, or why, you know, people still need to know them, and those questions need to be asked, and they need to be answered in a loving manner.
Yes.
And we
not
need
defensively. Not defensively. Like, we used to be really defensive about it, and I really don't know why. And really, to be honest, when I first started, Dion was of the Turquoise Iris and our friends, and we didn't know each other, and she called me just to do an interview like this. And so I was super nervous, and I was brand new. I remember talking to her on the phone, and I was trying to rent a car to take a piece to El Paso, Texas, which is 9 hours. So Texas is huge. So it's 9 hours, because I'm at the top by Oklahoma, and I had to go all the way down. And so I was renting a bigger car than mine so I could take this piece of furniture to El Paso. Well, I didn't know how to start it. And she's on the phone with me. I had never spoken to Dion, and Dion is very well known. So I'd never spoken to her. So I should be probably fangirling or something, or like acting a little better than I was, but I was giggling, and I was so embarrassed, and I'm not too bad embarrassed, but I was giggling. And I just was laughing. I had her laughing because I was like, I don't even know how to start this fancy car. I mean, she probably thought, oh my gosh, who is this hillbilly that I'm asking to come onto my page? And so it just had to start, with a button and no key.
Yeah, there's no key.
It was too fancy. So that was like 4 years ago. So that was pretty fancy,
Oh, it's very fancy, yeah.
It was fancy. So, she was into DIY paint. I had never used DIY paint. Like I said, I was new. I had really only started, I had used maybe a can of Annie Sloan. A couple of people had sent me some paint. And so I tried their paint, but I really did not want to sell paint. I didn't know that I didn't want to sell paint because I was trying to stay caught up and stay busy. And I was trying to stop doing custom orders. It's like one of the things I didn't care to do. So I only do 2 a year. They have to be really worthy of like what I want to do. They have to, have to be my style. I really will not paint white. Yeah. So
really you have to have you have to have creative license on the pieces. So really just somebody saying, do me something, not Quitta, can you paint the corner white and this corner blue and this corner, because that won't work.
And I don't really send progression pictures or anything like that because it always changes so drastically. I mean, people who have watched me paint see that there's a huge transformation usually because I never know I never know what's going to stop and say, okay, I'm done. I don't know. And so I wanted to get away from custom orders. So I really focused on other stuff. So Dion had called and asked me if I'd interview. I remember how scared I was. Hold on, let me see if I can do it over here. So I was like this on the interview. So I'm in her group. Yeah, I'm like half in and half out, and I'm watching. And she's like, well, where are you? And she's very good, a very good interviewer. So she's very good at that. And it was, social media had Facebook duels and all that had just started and all that. So she invited me to come onto her big page, as we call it. And she was going to interview me there because that was in her private group. And I'm telling you, I was like this the whole time. Like, oh God. And so that initial night, I was nervous. I had been working for 12 hours. My hair was a disheveled mess, bad color. I had still the dirty clothes on I was in. I didn't really even make an effort thinking that it was going to be seen like 70,000 times now on YouTube. Probably.
No, was it?
A lot. Like that is
a lot.
I was nervous.
Well, there's going to be 5 people see this. No, there's going to be.
And I went and I asked her because I was like, okay, she was going to interview me. And I was so nervous because she'd already interviewed me that day. And I was like, I was so nervous. I said, can we like paint together or something? Because I need to be doing something. I said, you just show me something or tell me something. I'll try to, do it. I don't know if I can, but I'll try. And, I knew who she was and I knew what her work looked like. But I didn't think I could do her stuff, which I can't because you have your own style.
That's right. Yeah.
You can't. So you can watch them all day long. You hold the brush different. Your strokes are different. How much paint you put on there is different. It's just different. And it's okay to be different. So we get on there and I probably made a complete fool of myself. I was so embarrassed, but we had so much fun. And that one night created 2.5 years of every Friday night at 8:30 p.m. we painted together. So it was great.
And that was a huge success. And that was a huge inspiration for people. And it still is a huge go-to for people to learn from. So I think for you, you now have your own, you're the mentor of the Furniture Painters Unite group because you believe in the support each other. But you also have your own subscription group, your own private group, where people pay for your time and your teaching and your expertise, which I'm in, and I love going into your group. I just love the fun. You're so funny. You're so charismatic, and you don't even know it. And I think that's you're very endearing to me and everyone who meets you, because you've no idea just how funny and how enjoyable it is to spend time with you.
Yeah, I just need to come to Ireland, I guess, right? I'll put it on my list. Well, if
Yes, you have to put it on your list. You have to leave America someday.
If they'll let us out of the United States, I'll try to put that on my list.
Yeah, you have to leave America, Quitta. Someday you need to get a passport.
I know. I don't. Do you know I'm not saying my age. I don't have a passport.
Well, you need to start thinking globally. So for people who are because there are quite a lot of different groups about, but you actually take your group, you teach them start to finish and of your paint techniques on a piece. So you show them what color you're using, how you mix them, what brush you're using, what strokes you do, how you layer, how you blend, and people paint along. But what I think also that people don't know about your group, which I love, is that you're actually doing step-by-step painting on canvas. So you're very happy to paint one of your lovely pictures, and then step by step, people are doing it with you. You also are teaching how to make your own soft furnishings in the house, how to paint your own cushions, how to make your own designs. And it is such a wonderful, creative, lovely group to be in, and everyone's so nice and supportive. And is that something that you thought 4 years ago? Did you think that that's something you could have been doing, that you wanted to do?
No. The first time that Dion asked me to do a live class with her in Oklahoma City, I was like, why? I was like, are you sure? Because I had never painted in front of really anybody but family. And so it's like, you're going to have to stand. And I mean, it was like 50 women. And you're like, yeah, it was a lot. And I started crying because I was shaking so bad. And I was just like, I am so nervous, and I paced but once I finally started painting, and then, they would get really quiet because they would be watching this wild person paint. And I'm a very messy painter. She's a very, very neat and clean painter. She is amazing when she does that. Like I'm grateful to Dion for just, the friendship that we grew naturally. We didn't know each other, and she's been super, super supportive. And I mean, I'm so proud of her. She's really taken her business to another level. She is in the business coaching world, and I'm not really in my group. We don't really do business coaching. We focus on all creativity. We focus on that you do not have to spend $40 for a quart of paint to get something beautiful. I'm telling you, you can take a tube of paint and paint a piece of furniture with this. Like you don't have to spend a lot of money on brushes. You can have one, like I have my favorite brush, which I don't think I have one like handy dandy, but one of my favorite brushes, and I will support Paint Pixie because she's always supported me. So Paint Pixie brushes, I will say thank you to her all day long. Josie is amazing, and she has really supported us as artists when we were not on the radar. And you can become, it's kind of how I describe it, as you in social media, you can become irrelevant very quickly in the furniture painting world. And all I can say about that is that I'm not the best at social media, as far as I have a website that is there, but it has still not been built out. I really have an Etsy shop, but I really prefer people, like if I'm selling this armoire, I prefer you to call me. I like to talk to the person, so I have more of a feel, because guess what? If I talk to that person and they only saw, so let's say they were on Etsy, this is my advice. Now, this is me.
Okay.
So this is my one tip on business advice for just from a sales girl in the past. So I am a voice on the phone. So if you can connect with a voice on the phone, and you create some type of a trusting relationship, or any kind of a relationship, it may be funny banter, or you have some kind of commonality. Usually your sales can go beyond the one item that you started to sell. So you say, okay, you know what? You're looking for this dresser. Is there anything else that you can think of that you might want to go with your order? And that leads into whole houses of furniture.
Yeah.
If it's on Etsy, which I'm not dogging Etsy because Etsy is a great start for me. I'm so proud of over 1,000 sales, and I only really utilize that for 2 years. I've had it, but I only utilized it for 2 years, 2.5 years or so right now. And so strong. So I've over 1,000 sales, and I'm so super proud of that. But it's on the smaller items. It's on some of my artwork that I've turned into merchandise, you know. But when it's a piece of furniture, if I need to ship it to California, you know, I'm going to see if they need more stuff, because shipping is going to be, you know, more affordable. Even so, it's more affordable to send 3 pieces to California than it is 1, which is crazy. So my advice is, if you can talk to the customer verbally, not text, not virtually, if you can talk to them verbally, you're going to find out more about that customer. Like today, I found out, you know, I paint angel wings. Those are signature for me. I found out, you know, some personal information of a loss, and those angel wings become a beautiful memorial that they will keep and hopefully hand down within their family of the people that they lost, you know, and everybody loved and cared for. So I think just those things touch me the most, you know.
Yeah, it makes it more worthwhile that you're not a factory. That, you know, that you're not just churning things out. You're not a robot in a factory churning things out. That it is really nice when you deliver a piece and you see their face and they're all, I love that and thank you. You know, if you don't get that, then what's the point?
I know.
Really, sometimes, you know, why do you do it if you're not getting that that satisfaction out of it? So the importance of we touched on it here and there, and with the angel wings and with the gratification of art. It is a very important form of therapy, being artistic and being creative. So for anyone watching this who say, "Oh, I'd love to, but I can't paint, or I can't draw, or I can't," but I would love to do something creative. What would you say to them?
You can. And just keep in mind that we're all different. Everybody's different. Like 2.5 years ago, I couldn't paint flowers, like, at all. I remember the first flowers I painted, they were like round circles, called them bubble roses, because I couldn't paint them. I was so frustrated. And I did that on the live, and I was so frustrated, but I came back and now I can paint flowers.
And you paint them magnificently.
But I didn't want to be a whimsical artist. I felt, here's why. I didn't research that enough. I didn't research that there is a niche, or niche, however you say that, for whimsical art. Okay. There is a place for everyone's art. Everyone. I saw a painting last night. It was $2,200 US dollars. Okay. Mm-hmm. It was a 16 by 24, so it's smaller than the one I just held up, for $2,200. It was a llama that it looked like a child drew, and a jockey, one that rides horses, sitting on that. And that's what it was. Then I saw one for $1,800. I'm not kidding. It was in a frame on a pink background, and it had a black bunny rabbit traced, and that was it.
For $1,800.
$1,800. Yes.
Well, that's what they say. When my kids are doing art in school, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm not having this homework in because it's no good," I'll say, it's art. There's no wrong. There's no right.
That's my point. It's like my bubble roses. Yeah, my bubble roses sold, or like I've been doing some naked ladies and they sold, and now I've never done those. And a lot of times in my group. So I don't pre-plan, except for saying, okay, it's furniture this week. And then I can't give you a supply list because I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So you won't know the supply list until you watch the video, which it has to be that way because I really tried to plan it out from the beginning. You'll see from the beginning of it when you come in, you get 25 tutorials to start off with. And you would see like the change. Like I really tried to be so professional. The very first one, my son filmed it, and I'm so proud of that video. And then as it went on, it was like, okay, I'm going to try to do lives on a certain day. And then that didn't work out for me. I was like, my schedule's too crazy. I can't do that. So then some people need to be more structured, and I understand that. So if they would leave, I would say, please come back again soon, whatever. And then, I mean, I want them all there, and I want them to try to understand that my name of my group is called All.Shabbed Creative Chaos. And there's a reason for that. It's because I'm still trying to paint 300 to 400 pieces of furniture a year to sell in my business. Yeah. And also, make sure that you guys get something to watch and learn from.
And you're also a mother with a life.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm fortunate enough but even so, I have older children that really don't need me as much, but they will need me. But I have a mama that's not feeling too good, so I try to take care of her, but really my aunt does more of that. So I just internally worry about all these things on top of trying to make sure we have a happy group. So, I'll teach you about stains. I will do demo boards. I will. Yeah. I probably give you too much information, and sometimes it may be overwhelming, but watch the video again. But it's chaos, and it's truly who I am. I didn't start this group until last year at a crazy time on Black Friday weekend. And I know that's crazy. And I started it as a monthly group. I offered yearly. I've changed that now, where if I'm going to commit a year to you guys, I would love for you to commit a year to me. So I give you 3 months free, which makes it like $22, $23 a month. So you already walk in with 25 tutorials.
Yeah.
Like you are getting a bonus year already. So next year, the group will start off fresh and empty. Like there will be no videos. So make sure you catch up.
I will catch up.
Yeah, you'll catch up. So
I will catch up. So I think that really is all we've talked about loads of different things.
Yes.
So the future for you is you're going to grow your group and grow Instagram and hopefully there'll be a fantastic movement of shabbed creative chaos.
Yes, I know. Everybody
more chaos.
They call themselves the Chaos Crew, which is kind of cute because they'll send me messages, and I've had a really hard time this last month and in my family, and I'm really just trying to get back on my feet and be as normal as I possibly can. And so Helena and I've talked about what right now my work is starting to be is truly therapy. When people ask me how I am, I just tell them I'm healing, because I don't know how to answer that question other than that. And so my goal is for the rest of 2021, I want to do a live on All.Shabbed page every night. And so we'll do some nighttime therapy, and because I feel like people are kind of settling down from their day, and then, kind of can do that. And then also my goal is to be as supportive as I can of anyone, whether they are having this as their business or it's just a hobby, that you can come in to my group or you can come in on my page and you can feel just warm and welcome and have some fun. And like last night I came on, I didn't announce it or anything, but I came on because I needed to paint a little bit. I just needed to scratch at the canvas. I had no plan for it. Like, I don't like to waste paint, so I'll take it and I'll scrape it off a brush or whatever, and I'll just put it on a canvas over to the side, and I may or may not, come back to it a year later and pick at it. Like you said, you have a lot of canvases that you're like just kind of sitting back there. And I do too. Don't think that I don't start a project and then it gets put on the back burner. But like you said, you have a goal to watch videos and get caught up on things. And I always have a goal, but it doesn't always mean it's going to happen or I'm going to be successful at it. So I just want everybody to feel like that it's okay. Like if you can't make it, like you try to, like my daughter's birthday was Sunday and she was supposed to be working. So we had to take her out for her birthday. And that was not planned. I planned on painting in the group. So I'm like, I have to take my kid to the birthday. So life is happening and I got to go do that. You know,
Although your Alyssa, your daughter,
Alyssa.
she loves the fun in the group as well. She likes to get involved when she
What she
can, and
wish she would come on with me, but she really doesn't. She'll come and interrupt the lives.
well, as I
Talk
said
to me.
to you just before we started, my favorite memory of you is Alyssa's video. I logged on one day and there was Alyssa going, "Oh, check out my mama. She's really, oh no, oh she is. Yes, she's doing this." And Alyssa was filming you pushing a piano through down the freeway. It wasn't even on the sidewalk. It was on
Was
the
it the
pavement. It
highway?
was on the road,
I was
and
on
you
the
were
highway.
and then you're stopped at the junction with your arm like this on the piano, waiting for the traffic. And she's driving really slowly. Alyssa's driving really slowly in a car, going, "Oh my God, check out my mama!" And that was lovely. That's one of my favorite memories of you because
Well, I was
I thought that was brilliant. I could see you were so determined to get that piano. You wanted to paint that piano. You could see the
I can't wait.
potential, and cars weren't stopping you, and trucks weren't. Little things like road.
Behind me. She was in her car. She was in her car behind me, so I wouldn't get killed. And
Very slowly.
I'm pushing this 200-pound 1800s piano that this man told me at the antique shop, which was about 10 blocks away. He told me, I walked in the door and he goes, "Well, who's here to help you?" And he was so rude to me. And I was like, "Don't need help." And he goes, "Well, you can't get that by yourself."
Don't even need a truck.
No, I brought my own cart and I loaded it up on that cart, and it was extremely heavy. And I strapped it down and I was crying because I was so mad. I got on a live. I was furious. I was like, okay, one, don't tell me I can't move a big piece of furniture, because I can. Two, don't belittle me as a woman. And three, watch me do it.
Well, I watched you do it.
I am very, very, very determined, stubborn, and tenacious all at the same time. And then soft-hearted on top of that. So then when I get mad like that, I'm like crying and I'm so mad and I'm going to vent and I want to say a lot of bad words. And so I pushed that thing, and I did have actually one man. I was halfway down the street. He pulled his truck over and he goes, "Can I please help you?" He goes, "I don't know where you're going with this," but he goes, "This might be one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in my life." And I said, "You know what? First of all, I appreciate you stopping, but I got it. I got it." And then I would stop. My girlfriend, she has a store down the street. She sells DIY paint. And so I stopped by Elsie's and said, "You might want to get a picture of this one, sister." And so she's taking a picture. It was the funniest thing. But I had done some crazy stuff. Like,
it was funny.
I used to go on lives with Dion, and I need to do more fun stuff in the group. I get real serious in the group because I want to make sure I teach you, but we need to do some more, like going out and do some more junk trips. And when the spring hits, we will be doing that. So when spring is here, I'll take you guys on the road with me.
I love that. A junk trip for people watching that don't know.
Yeah.
In the Furniture Painters Unite UK group, we do a Zoom call every other Saturday night where we have a glass of wine and have a chilly chat. And Quitta joined one Saturday night, and she took us all shopping with her. So that's the junk. So she was out around all these shops, and we were all live on the Zoom. Watching like this.
No.
Turn around the corner, go back, oh, it's behind you.
And y'all were on lockdown. So you guys were like, are y'all still on lockdown? Are you kind of?
No, we're free, but we'll have to wear masks. But we were all in lockdown. So we had the Zooms every single Saturday because we were all in lockdowns. But now we're open. We have the Zooms every 2 weeks. So there's one this Saturday night, and then it'll be every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, but that's great. We have great fun. But listen, I'm going to let you go because.
Well, be sure to tell them. Let me just tell you something real quick. I'm going to start doing a live on the Instagram and the Facebook page for the USA.
So brilliant.
Yes, I am. So I'm going to start doing that once a week. So it's going to be called The Life of a Furniture Painter.
Fabulous.
With Quitta. And so I'm going to come on and do that with you guys and on the Furniture USA page. And so thank you so much for having me. And
well, that's great. So anyone watching, if you don't already follow, Quitta is Quitta Allen and her business is all.shabbed. You'll get her on Instagram and Facebook and then follow Furniture Painters Unite UK, USA, and the USA. They're different. On Instagram to catch Quitta's lives. This is going to be fantastic.
I know. I do my own too, but I really do. The most live.
Yeah.
The reason I don't do so many lives is because I'm just extremely busy with painting.
Yeah.
And so I just, it's so hard to stop and do a live and then start again. And it's just really hard. So for me anyway, I'm not a structured person. I like to just, because I used to work for corporate America and I had to be so structured, and I was late for that. I was late for that. So you guys might see me painting in some crazy places coming up, but just watch me on all.shabbed out. And then if you want to paint with me privately, I have that group and it's on my link on my page. So right now the yearly memberships are open. And so we will be starting our New Year's stuff in January, but I do have tutorials all through October. We're on Wednesdays right now. So
fantastic. Well, thank you so much. I will let you go. I've loved chatting to you, and I will see you very soon.
Okay, next time I get to interview you.
We need 3 hours.
Yeah, I get to interview you.
Yeah, maybe.
No, maybe.
Maybe.
No, we should have.
I'm like this. I'm like, hi, hello.
Hi. That's exactly. You can do that. It's okay. You can be on camera. You can just be gone. And
oh, thank you. Big love.
Big love.
Bye-bye. Bye.